In, take a little breath, settle in, and welcome to the Space Between. My name's Cole. I'm the host of the Space Between, Cole Unfiltered. I wanted to take today to just kind of explain to you how this podcast came to be. First of all, thank you so much for finding your way here and all this space on YouTube. I'm so glad that you decided to check out this channel. So the space in between, what we're doing in the space between is um, I listen to podcasts on a pretty regular basis, and what I've been finding is that a lot of them are very left focused, very right focused. And I don't really live in those areas, those extremes. Um, and they're loud and they're pushy, and they're telling you that if you don't think this, then you're evil and demonic, and if you don't think that, you're evil and demonic. And I needed to take a breath and slow down and say, you know what? I don't fit those categories. I'm not evil, I'm not demonic, and I don't think the way you think. Um, and I don't rush to have an opinion about everything. And so that's kind of how the space between was birthed, if you will. And so I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about that and kind of like what you can expect from this podcast. Um, it's going to be a very chill space. Like I said, we're going to talk about everything from a viewpoint of like being centered, not the extremes, um, in a context in which things need to be reviewed in. I think so often we reduce our world down to like the headlines, but really the thing is that the details are what matter. And so we're gonna dig into the details of things. We're going to explore the context of the things that are happening in us and around us, um, and that's the space between. It's not what was, it's not what will be, it's where we are right now. Just tell you a little bit about myself. By trade, I am a bartender currently. I've been a general manager, I've been all kinds of things, but currently I bartend. And one of the things about bartending that I love so much is that people just come, they sit down, and they talk to you. They ask you questions, they tell you about their lives, they ask for your opinion about things, and you get to know people, and you get to experience life with them, and you get to, when you see them again, you get to ask them about the trip they went on, or whatever's going on in the world. And it's such a beautiful human interaction, that I really enjoy. That's the only reason really why I continue to bartend. Um, and so I'm kind of hoping to bring that kind of feel to this space. Like you're just sitting down with your friend and you're just talking about whatever pops into your head. Um, so yeah, like I said, we're gonna try and keep it centered. We're not gonna be always gonna have the viral instant reaction to headline news. We're gonna kind of like sit with it and let us really sink in, and then I'm gonna share with you my opinions about things. And some things are going to be pretty relevant to what's happening in the world around us, and that, like I said, some things are going to be what's happening in the world inside of us. So our relationships, our personal growth, what's going on in the world, uh, politics, religion, kind of all of it, just the whole spectrum of life, because that's what it is to share a community, and that's what I'm hoping that we build here. Um, I want you to feel free to get in those comments, ask questions, say what you think. Like I said, this is a space for us to be human, to be who we are without the pressure, the expectation that so often is put on us to be super far leaning left or super far leaning right, but just kind of like find our middle, find our peace in the middle. Um, Now, as far as like what you can expect from the podcast and from me, I want us to be in a place where we are constantly trying to grow, uh, personally and as a community. I want us to always be honest with each other. I want us to sit with things before we just jump out with an answer. and to always be authentic. I think that's so super important. Authenticity has always been a key word in my life. I always want to be a person that I can be proud of at the end of the day. I might not always get it right, but I want to always try to get it right. And so that's what you'll see here. You're not going to see some super um, hyper um, technically advanced podcast here. Like I'm recording this on a phone that's from like 1934. Not really, but it is an old phone. And so we're just gonna sit and we're gonna chat and we're gonna do us. And I really hope that that's the kind of environment that you were looking for when you found this podcast. I hope that you find merit here. I hope that you know that you're welcome here always. Your ideas, your thoughts, are always welcomed and encouraged in this space. What else? Um, so yeah, basically how it's gonna work is the plan as of right now is on the space between. We are going to, like I said, talk about basically everything that you could possibly think of. Um, Looking a little further into the future, I'm gonna shoot for doing about four, maybe five, but definitely four episodes a week. And they're gonna, like I said, run the gamut. There's an episode that I'm gonna bring you about something that happened in the 1990s, I believe, um, that recently made its way back into the news cycle, and it gathered my attention a couple weeks ago, and I did some research on it, and I kind of investigated it out, and ended up kind of going down this like rabbit trail. Uh, from the original one, and it ended up being like two different things, two different very separate topics, but based on the same premise. So I'm going to bring that to you. That's going to be one of these first ones, probably this week. I'll bring you at least one part of that series. Um, and so, like I said, there will be some series. I want to do a legacy series where we talk about what it means to build a legacy, what legacy looks like, um, all those kinds of things. And I want you guys too to feel free to like share your ideas. Like, hey, you should do a podcast on this, or we should discuss this in one episode. Eventually, what I would like to do is do a live maybe once a month or so, depending on how you guys feel about that, just so we can have like a in the moment kind of type of conversation where we just discuss things as they come. And then also, I would like to do some interviews. I have some people lined up already that I just think would be really interesting for you to hear about their life, hear about their perspective, hear about um, how they came to the places they are in their lives, and what they're doing and where they're moving towards. Because again, this is where life happens. It's in this middle area. It's not when we're born, we're not completely exactly who we are and who we're going to be. But it's this space that we're living in that before our time is over, we have this right now. We have this moment. And so I really just would encourage you to be active as possible, comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff so that we can actually become this community of people who are center minded, center focused, who take the breath, take the moment to really think about what it is that we believe before we allow other people to tell us who we are or who we should be. Um, there's going to be storytelling, but like I said, I think this is just an adventure for us to go on. Maybe something that's not as prolific in the YouTube space as the far rights and the far lefts and the yelling and the screaming and the telling people that if they think this, they're this, and we're not that space. We're just a space that says, man, let's find that center, let's find that calm, let's find our inner truth, and let us use that to reflect on everything that's going on in this crazy world around us. And so, like I said, join me in that. Um, Basically, the format right now, like I said, is going to be 4 to 5 episodes a week. Definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we'll add some more in here and there. But I really look forward to you guys joining us again um, in the next episode. And until then, just know that um, it's okay to be in the center. It's okay to be in the middle. The middle is where life happens. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys.